know about legal and business issues in the game industry. It's by Boyd, Pine, and Kane, and it is on Amazon. And it'll be like probably around $20. I forget what it is, but this is the book I would recommend to indie devs to read so that they understand what they're getting into. The people who wrote it are veterans of game industry law, and they do a great job of explaining keeping things simple enough to understand without actually simplifying away any important details.
All right, good. Well, we'll definitely put that in the show notes. So for anybody listening who really wants to dive in deep and get a much clear and better understanding of everything that they would be getting involved with, we'll put that book there, Video Game Law. All right.
Yep.
Awesome. So I know we're coming to time here. So as we close, I mean, we covered definitely quite a bit today. And I was just hoping if you could, share any suggestions or tips that we just like as a quick recap that you would recommend indie devs to consider based on our discussion today.
Yeah, I would say, I mean, summarizing sort of what we've talked about, I would say evaluate your game situation. Look at where you're headed without a publisher. Do some projections, see what that looks like. And then if you decide that you want to talk to publishers, be selective. Make sure they're the kind of publishers who've delivered results in the past. And then make sure that when you negotiate a deal with them, it's the kind of deal that adds value, and game out the scenarios. And you should have, open up an Excel spreadsheet or Google Sheets and aim out sort of like pessimistic, middle ground, and optimistic projections if you don't have a publisher. And then do the same things with the publisher. And any number the publisher tells you is like, oh yeah, we could probably do that. That's your optimistic one. Go lower for the other. Take their projections with a grain of salt. Do your own estimations and do them based on what that publisher has achieved in the past. And then go through the contract terms and the amounts going to who, and analyze how the money changes under the three scenarios. And also, frankly, analyze the time frame and really look hard at terms that don't seem significant, but they actually are, like that quarterly payments provision, which can be a key for cash flow. Really just look at every provision in the contract. And yes, have a lawyer analyze it with you. You absolutely should. But know you're going to care more about your own business and know more about what you need than anyone ever will. So you should be staring at that contract for hours and reading it and thinking about how every provision could go wrong and how it impacts how much you make, the timing at which you make money, your ability to do things. And then at the end of all that, if the publisher isn't adding clear value, don't go with them. Just do it on your own. If that's what's, if you've got good enough projections, you monitor success on your own. If you're headed towards a moderate success, don't be afraid to just say that's good enough, and don't go chasing the dream of the highest success or what, the heights of sales that could possibly be achieved sometimes. Sometimes it's better just take a good, success and make sure that you do well and you're there to go on to game number 2.
Yeah, those all great and amazing points. And Tim, again, I can't thank you enough for being here today. But before we go, what is the best way that people could learn more about you, reach out to you, your website? Where can people get in touch?
Well, I'm pretty boring myself, but if they wanted to, and the website needs an overhaul because I put it up a year ago in 10 minutes on WordPress. But there are pictures of my dog on it, so that's always a plus, right? Me with my dog, my wife with my dog, with our other dog actually. She got the Beagle, I took the Pyrenees. But yeah, we've got Twitter. There. I mean, the thing is, honestly, most of my social media is probably going to be talking about our games, because that's what we do as a publisher. We promote our games. I don't really, talk much other than being on this podcast about sort of like advice to devs or anything, because my audience, my social media audience is mostly gamers who are interested in our, strategy games. So I'm sure follow me if you like, but mostly be following for strategy games. But anyone's always welcome to, if you actually something more relevant to you, if you like to reach out and talk, you can, I tell you what, my personal email is Tim, my first name, at hoodedhorse.com. Anyone's welcome to email me there. We also have a team email and a publishing email up on the website people can send messages to. If anyone wants to chat about things, I'm always open for chatting.
All right, great. So as Tim said, he's that personal email for him is at tim@hoodedhorse.com. And I believe the for publishing, for anybody who's creating like a strategy game that which is your focus, publishing at hoodedhorse.com is another one they could reach out to, correct?
That's right. Yep.
All right, perfect. Well, Tim, really appreciate the insights that you shared with us today, because honestly, I think there's a lot that we uncovered that is going to be really helpful for people when they getting close to whether they're thinking about publishing or getting close to a possible agreement, or they're in the process of negotiation. So again, can't thank you enough for being on the show.
I enjoyed it very much, Andrew.
Hey, everyone, and thank you for listening to another episode of Indie Game Movement. I'm Andrew Pappas, your host, and the show's producer is Mustafa Price. A special thanks to Taisuke Kimura for creating the show's theme and Donnie Wilson for the logo design. If you enjoy and value the content, you can support us by visiting our Patreon, which is patreon.com/IGM podcast, and select the tier that meets your needs. Show notes for this episode can be found by visiting rengenmarketing.com/the number of this episode. Rengen Marketing is a consulting marketing company that helps indie devs with their marketing efforts. So if you're looking for helpful marketing content or marketing plan template for your current game, then please visit rengenmarketing.com. And as always, thanks for being such great listeners, and we'll see you next time on Indie Game Movement.